So for Gulab, we'll be using this application called Notion to kind of streamline our workflow. It combines like the functionalities of Google Drive and Google Docs um, with the functionalities of WhatsApp for communication. It's kind of like an internal website where we can kind of do all of our work. And when you open it up, it might seem a little bit complicated, but it's actually much easier than it seems. So you're presented with a new page, and the basically the concept of Notion is centered around blocks. So every type of thing is its own block. So to add a block, all you do is you type this /, and these different options come up. So the first is just normal text. Let's look at that first. You can just type normally. You can highlight it to change how it looks, things like that. You can add a link over here. You can mark it as code. You can add equations. You can change the color of the text and the background of the text. You can mention people. So I can mention a date, or I can mention myself right now. I can mention different pages in my workspace. Yeah. So the next block we'll look at is page. So in Notion, you can nest pages inside other pages. So let's say we want a notes page. Now, when we go back, there's a page over here that when we click, it takes us to this one. We can keep nesting pages as many pages as we want. There's no limit. Then the next one is to-do list. It gives you these little check boxes, and you can add different to-dos here. You can check them off. They get crossed off. Then we have headings. So if you don't want to type headings, you can just type H1. That's going to give you the big heading. H2 will give you the small heading. And H3 will give you a smaller heading. In addition, we can make bulleted lists. We can make numbered lists. We can make quotes. So you can just kind of experiment with all of these different kinds of blocks. There's toggles. So in toggles, I'll show you how toggles work. So if you put something here, like say biology, you can put things within it. And then you can kind of collapse this whole area. So it makes your page look a little bit neater. Dividers are just like lines that help divide the page to make it look more aesthetic. We can, if we have another page somewhere in our entire workspace, we can just link to it. So yeah, that's pretty basic. A call out is to just kind of emphasize something. And you can customize everything. You can customize these little icons. You can make them different. You can change the background color. So you can do things like that. So these were like the basic blocks. Now we have some more interesting ones. One of the best parts of Notion is its ability to embed different types of data. So the first type is the most powerful one. It's the database. Let's see what it looks like. So let me make a database. Now let's say we're making a database for different events we have. So suppose our first event is bake sale. Here we can edit the name of the event. We can just call it name of event. We can change the type of property it is. In this case, it's the title. Then we could add, for example, the person who's in charge of organizing this event. So for that, we can write person in charge. And for this, we'll need the person category. What the person category helps us do is, if we click over here, it gives us like the list of all the people who we're collaborating with. So for Girl Up, you'll see the list of all the volunteers and all the core team members here. And if a certain person is in charge of something, you can easily like assign work to them, and they'll get a notification in their email that they've been assigned like a new task. Then suppose you want to add the date of the event. So you can just change the property type to date. Over here, you can choose the date of the event, and we can add the time, we can add the time zone, and we can ask it to remind us. This would be good for like a meeting. If you have a team meeting, it will remind everybody. Now suppose you want to put the budget. For this, we can choose the property type number. In number, there's many different property types for like numbers. So if you click on this little button here, you can choose what kind of thing you want. So let's go with dollar, and let's write, say our budget is $300. So it formats it really nicely for you. Now suppose you want to add what type of event it is. Event type. For this, you want to make the property type multi-select. These are kind of like tags. So if you make a tag called virtual, and you make a tag called fundraising. So this is a virtual fundraising event. Then in the future, when you click, you have these options to choose from. You can make a bunch of different options beforehand, so that when you're entering this data, it's like really easy for you to enter it. Now we could write completion. Is this activity in the past? Is it happening right now? Is it in the future? For this, we can do select. So the difference between multi-select and normal select is that with multi-select, you can choose like a bunch of different options, but select is exclusive. So here we can add options like past, present, and future. This will help us see the timeline of our events. Now, a really fun thing about Notion is that you can take all this data you enter and you can make really interesting views with it. I'll show you what that means. Let me just edit some of these properties. Okay, so it's supposed to be add a view that says, let me just change the date. A view that says calendar. What this will do is it'll put all of our data into a calendar view. So it puts, it takes the date that we enter and puts it over here like this. And if you click on it, you can see all the details. You can also make a Kanban board with this. A Kanban board is like a project management system where it makes different columns depending on the stage of completion. So as a present activity gets completed, suppose this bakes is in the future and we start working on it, we can just drag it over to present. And then we have like a very like visual kind of idea of how things are going. So that's how databases work. There's a lot more you can do with them, but this is kind of like the basic ideas. Additionally, every time you make an event or add like a new entry in a database, it kind of makes a new page for that event. So when this page opens up, you can kind of do your planning over here and things like that. And you can add like an unlimited number of properties depending on what you want. There's emails, phone numbers, URLs. There's a lot of things you can kind of put in here depending on your needs. And you can also embed different types of media. So the first type I'm going to show you is images. Over here, you're given an option. You can upload them from your computer. You can use Unsplash, which is good for like stock photos and just kind of like cute stuff. Or you can embed a link from the internet. You can also upload files from Google Drive really easily. So you just go into Google Drive and you put in the embed link. For this, you want to make sure that the sharing permissions are not set to HKU, because if someone is not using the HKU account, they won't be able to open it. And also it won't get embedded because Notion needs it to be a public document. So you need to keep that in mind. If you don't want to upload from Google Drive and something from your computer, you can use File. You can use this PDF. You can put pieces of code. You can put pieces of music, videos. It's very easy. You just have to put in links or upload it from your computer. And yeah, that's it.